Let me see. That's better. While I'm waiting, I need a better way to prop this up. Let's see. Oh, funny. I can actually see Mickey back there. Oh my goodness. That's so cute. Let me get this other phone up so that I can see what you guys see. If you're here, give me a little shout. Let me know that you're here. I'm starting to see the watch count go up. There we go. Hi, people. Yeah, and if you look in the corner, you can see Mickey's ears right there. He's grooming himself. Hi, Mickey. Let's see if we can get him on camera. Oops. There he is. Say hi, Mickey. He's like, don't disturb me. I'm grooming myself. Human. Hello to everybody who's popping in. Coralie, what's up? It's morning? Oh, wow. Well, thank you for being on in the chat. So what is up, everybody? Oh, shoot. I'm trying not to lose my scroll. It's being stupid. Let's see. There we go. Remember to go out and hit that like button. And apparently now the dislike button doesn't have a counter, but it still exists. So that's funny. It's a new weird thing YouTube is doing, and there seems to be two things that are being debated. On one hand, they claim it's to cut down negativity and that kind of stuff, and true, that does exist. Like, people will review bomb stuff and just hit the dislike button to be contrary, but also there is like some places where it's useful, especially if you're looking for specific information, to see like the like to dislike ratio. Some people have said this has more to do with corporate entities and advertising, which, because YouTube is a business, probably true. I honestly don't care either way. Like, for the kind of videos I do, like, it doesn't really affect me for it to be there or not. But yeah, if you do happen to notice it, just know this was a YouTube implemented thing. It's not something that's being implemented by the creators on an individual basis. They've just decided that dislike doesn't have a counter anymore and likes do, but both buttons still exist, allegedly, so creators can gauge the reaction to their videos or whatever. I have no idea. I don't know. There's a lot of minds out there about this whole like dislike situation. So yeah, that's what's going on with YouTube right now. I'm gonna take a look at the chat here. Hello to everybody who's popping in. Sarah wants the dislike button back. So I am just chilling. I have crossed back into California, which was my plan. Honestly, for weather, it's just been better to start moving in this direction. And also, I will probably be able to get either some work on a temporary or a selective basis back in the California Bay Area, where I've mostly lived for most of my time. The past 4 years now, 3 of which I've been doing vehicle dwelling. So yeah, it was so weird to suddenly need to take my jacket off. I was like, okay, but I also know the Bay Area, I'm going to need my jacket, but it shouldn't get, like, super cold. It's not as rainy, and my solar panels have definitely appreciated the sun. So yeah, I'm back in California. I'm not quite back in the Bay Area yet, but that is the direction in which I am heading. Yeah. Sarah says, I like seeing the amount of dislikes on a Sims release trailer. So hilarious. Oh, man, I love it. Tina's the Outsider says, I'm in the Walmart parking lot again. Made spaghetti last night in the minivan here, too. That is fancy. I give you points for that. Like spaghetti is a lot of effort. There's a lot of things that can go on with the spaghetti making, and if you did it in the minivan in the parking lot, I am impressed, Tina. Victoria says, is Reading warm enough for you? Well, now it's cooled down, so it's like perfect right now. It's like the not too hot, not too cold. So it's just kind of cooled down, and it's that perfect middle line. So I remember when I got to California, especially when I got to the Bay Area, because again, it's always like a middle temperature. It gets kind of warmer, it gets kind of colder, but it's never too cold and it's never too hot, and it's always kind of in this middle zone. Like there aren't these extremes in weather changes, basically, that you might experience somewhere else. Now, you may leave the house in the morning with your jacket on, and by the end of the day have like all your layers off except for your t-shirt, but it's not extreme. So if anybody asks me in the future if I miss weather, I'm going to be like, no. I actually miss it kind of being almost the same most of the time. I don't miss weather, which is what I've discovered. I do not miss it at all. Andrea says, hello, Dawn and Mickey. I've been a long-time sub, and this is my first time commenting. Love you, Mickey, and your content. Thanks for sharing. Thank you, Andrea, and I'm glad you made it to a live. Lone Peddler also says, hey, Dawn, finally caught you live. I'm glad you caught me. I'm on a little bit later than I planned to be. It's always tricky trying to make sure you're not being too unreasonable for multiple time zones, and sometimes it's ultimately impossible. Like, you're always going to be in a time zone that's like inconvenient for like other people. Corley says, we have El Nino here in Australia at the moment, so our weather is all over the place. Heaps of rain, flooding in some places. Oh no! Well, please stay safe. Flooding is it's amazing how much damage a lot of water can do. Julie says, hi, Dawn. I just arrived home from a flight in Florida. I saw a lot of camper vans and RVs out there. One day I'll get to Florida. I've literally never been to Florida. So that's another place, but the problem is, of course, it's on the other coast, and that's a lot of money. And I ain't got driving to the other coast money. D. Huffman says, it's freezing here in upstate New York, 20s at night. Ugh. Yeah. I don't envy you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. D. Huffman is saying that I live in Miami most of the winter. Like, lots of van lifers. It's one of those places where you can be there in the winter and not like freeze in your van. So I get it. Especially if you can move. Like I say the strongest weather deterrent is your keys. You want a temperature control? Turn your key and go. But I realize that's also not as easy for some people. It's harder for some people than others, depending on your situation. But it is the greatest weather control system is a pair of keys. Lisa Roth says, this is fine for me. 8:40 p.m. on the East Coast. Coralie says, no flooding right where I am, thankfully. Thanks, Tina and Dawn. Yeah, still, be safe. Marrakech says, hi from Seattle, Washington. What is up? So, I used to watch this show called Dark Angel, which starred Jessica Alba. And I love that show. I was like obsessed with that show. It wasn't just because Jessica Alba's cute, but I was obsessed with Dark Angel. And so in Dark Angel, like a big feature of it is the Space Needle. And so I've always wanted to go up and see it. So I had this intent that I was going to visit Washington before I came back south. And it just got too cold. I was like, forget it. I need to go to warmer weather. So I ended up going back the other way. But even though Dark Angel got canceled, I think in like its second season, I still want to see the Space Needle just for nerd points of loving that show at one point in my life. I don't know how many people ever saw Dark Angel. But yeah, it starred Jessica Alba. She was like this genetically engineered, like, chick who had escaped as a child. And it was her and I think like 9 of her siblings or something like that who weren't really her siblings. It was a whole thing. But I love Dark Angel at a point in my life. Coy Lake says, hi Dawn, you are looking great lately. Thank you so much. How is your weight loss journey going? I am hoping to publish a video about that, but I've been focusing less on weight loss and more on getting back into my healthy habits. I have dropped some pounds, but I've mostly honestly been holding the same weight, and I just think it's a calorie thing. Like, I think I'm eating the exact amount of calories to stay about the same weight, and so I do need to do some cutting in that arena. But as far as like the types of food I'm eating and the exercise, I have been moving towards getting that back on point, in a way that makes me happy. So I'm pretty happy about that. Southern Projects, what's up? Says she's alive. How you doing? Elm Pedmar, hello Dawn, what did I just miss? I just noticed that you were live. I said it like that because of all the caps. Nothing much. I'm just honestly randomly talking. I've been heading back towards the Bay Area of California. Not there yet. I'll probably get there either tomorrow or the day after. Taking my time as usual because I don't rush anywhere. That's my whole thing. I don't rush anywhere, and I like being in a position to not rush anywhere. So yeah, I'm headed in that direction. Sarah says, yep, we were in Hawthorne, Nevada, and it was cold. Moved an hour south, and it was 10 degrees warmer. Now in Pahrump, and it's hot during the day. See? Best weather control air ever. A pair of keys. When you just turn your key and leave, it's like, it's too cold. I'm going where it's not cold. That's like the best. There's no better thing you could have to control your environment than a set of keys in a mobile house. Corey Bose says, I love that show. Yes, a fellow Dark Angel fan. It was a great show. They just didn't know what to do with it in the second season. I'm not going to become a total nerd during this, but like the first season, they just set up a really cool world, and then they like let everybody out of the facility, and suddenly you were flooded with like all these things, and it just, they messed it up in the second. In the second season, I still like, but they messed it up. Coralie was also a Dark Angel fan. Yay! External Influences was also a Dark Angel fan. D. Huffman. Oh, people remember this show. I thought people didn't remember this show. I'm saying like, yeah, Dark Angel. Sarah says, gotta go up the Space Needle. So fun, and I am terrified of heights. I just, yeah. I'm actually not scared of heights. But also, I think there's a height where everybody gets a little bit scared. Like, in general, I can get up on high places and I can look over, like, the edge of, like, roofs and not, like, be, like, afraid as long as I feel like I'm physically secure. But I think there's a certain height where everybody feels like, whoa, this is a lot. Even if they're not, like, specifically afraid of heights. Jennifer says, it's fun to eat in the Space Needle restaurant. As the restaurant rotates, people leave notes and questions on the windowsills that you can read as it rotates. Ooh, you guys are really making me want to go to the Space Needle now. Thank you, Coralie. She says you sound happy today. D. Huffman is reminding you to hit that thumbs up button. Thank you so much. A Southern Project says, doing all right, Dawn. Obtained the 3/4 impact sockets I needed, so one step closer to fixing my bus. Good to see you doing well. I'm glad you were one step closer to fixing your bus. I actually need to get me a good socket set. I have like a bunch of miscellaneous sockets, and it's been able to do everything I needed to do, but I really just want to get me like a good socket set. And I think if I wait till after Christmas, a bunch of stuff is going to be marked down, so that may be something that I have my eye on. Because that's how I have a GoPro. That's how I got my GoPro. After Christmas, when everything got marked down like last year, that's when I got an actual GoPro. I used to have a fake Pro, so I had like a fake little camera, and now I have an actual GoPro, and that's because I got it after Christmas last year when they were marking stuff down. And I may do the same thing for like a nice socket set, because like you need sockets for so many things, and I have a bunch of mismatch ones, but it'd be nice to have like a socket set that covers most of my needs most of the time. Maritech says, do you miss van life in the Toyota Sienna? In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. Obviously, for space and comfort, I would not have gotten a pet. I got low power mode. Let's get this phone plugged up so I don't get cut off. Let's see. Luckily, I have the charger like right here. Let's see. It's charging? I don't know. By the way, guys, before I get back to that question, I did my first FaceTime today. So for the first time, I actually FaceTime. Now, I don't mean video calling. Obviously, video calling exists. You can video call over Facebook. You can video call on Duo on Android. But the thing about FaceTime, it's like it's integrated into the phone. So it's like you can literally go to your contacts and just like FaceTime them. And I'd never done it before, and I didn't call anybody. I was called by a friend of mine, and it was kind of weird. I was like, I don't hate this whole FaceTime thing, and I felt like a betrayer of Android doing the FaceTime call, which I know is dumb. It's totally dumb, but I feel like I betrayed Android. So yeah, I had my first official FaceTime today, and I told my friend, I was like, you're breaking my FaceTime virginity, and she thought that was hilarious. But anyway, going back to the Toyota Sienna question, yes and no. Like for fitting into places, size, ease of finding mechanics, cost of repairs, that kind of stuff was great in the Toyota Sienna. But then in the day-to-life living and comfort, I just did that video. Obviously having the box truck has a bunch of advantages over it, as far as like space, the ability to stand up, the fact that I can exercise in here without having to go somewhere else to exercise. I really don't see a point in ever getting a gym membership again. And so it's nice just to be able to do so many things in here without having to go somewhere else to do it. Like the ability to be self-functional, within this space is just something I value a lot. In my perfect world, if I had a place to like trade off vehicles for specific trips, it would be nice to have a tiny camper again, where for specific trips, maybe I don't want to take the whole box truck and I just get in the small camper and do my thing, come back, and when I'm going to stay places for longer stretches, like have the larger vehicle. But that's just not conducive to even how much money I have right now. But that would be my perfect world. If I had both of them and I had some place where I could just trade them off and have one parked while I'm using the other one. And I don't want to pay for a storage unit or anything like that to have that type of situation. But yeah, so there's a yes and no to missing the Toyota Sienna. It's still one of my favorite. I still get excited when I see Toyota Siennas just because I lived in one for so long. D. Huffman says, just caught Jaylena's boyfriend's channel last night. They're expecting. I know! I can't believe it. I'm so happy for them and the baby and the bus baby. Divine Rap says, I don't remember Dark Angel, but I remember Darkwing Duck. Darkwing Duck rocked. That was a great show. I love that show. You're pulling my memories back. I love Darkwing Duck. But Darkwing Duck was like, it's one of those great classic cartoons. Dark Angel was more like, we're going to be the gritty sci-fi show. Yeah. And also have a hot chick on a motorcycle. Let's be honest. Mostly. It was about the hot chick on the motorcycle. Finding My Muse says, good evening, Dawn. I'm rarely able to catch your lives. I'm glad you're catching me. Shannon Boulder says, I wish I was close to fixing my darn van. It is so depressing me. I'm sorry, Shannon. I hope it's not too big of a problem and, you know, you find a way to get it going. Southern Project says, I strongly suggest Harbor Freight Tools, Dawn. They have good quality socket sets for affordable pricing. Chanel Perez says, Sears usually runs good sales on their tools. Shannon Balda says, your first iPhone. Yes, I've been an Android loyalist since like 1.0. And technically I still have an Android because I have two phones. Just for the redundancy thing, so that I have phones on different networks. So if one network isn't working, I have the other network. So technically I'm doing this live on my iPhone, but I still have an Android. So actually I'm still using both on a fairly regular basis. But I never wanted an iPhone. Like, honestly, I like the camera on the iPhone. I don't hate FaceTime as much as I thought I was going to hate it. I still find some of the apps and usage weird. Apple Maps sucks, so I downloaded Google Maps. I still find the navigation screen weird, but that just might be because I have the iPhone SE and it's really, really small. So, like, between the two phones, there's some stuff where I'm like, okay, this isn't terrible, because I was an iPhone hater. So there's some things on iPhone where I'm like, okay, this isn't terrible. Okay, they've improved this since I used an iPad years ago. Okay, like, these things about iOS are kind of cool, but there's still certain functions I still like better on the Android, not just maybe me being used to it. The camera's great on the iPhone. I really love the stabilization. Like I did, if you guys saw that shot in my comfort video where it starts in the sky and then it scans down to the truck, I did that by hand and it was super stable. So like as far as like the camera, even with things like stability, I'm very impressed with this iPhone, especially since it's one of the cheaper iPhones. But there's still like regular functions I kind of still like better on Android. So, you know, I'm still between worlds on how I feel. Yeah. Also, Android loyal. Even if I own an iPhone, Android loyal. Yes, Coralie, this I might have been on the Android. Like I said, I jumped between them, so it's possible. Lisa Rolfe says, I FaceTime with my son frequently, even when he was stationed in Italy or Japan. That's awesome. Shannon Boulder says, I can't do Android at all since my iPhone 4. I am never going back. I still reluctantly... I still feel dirty every time I praise the iPhone. I'm like, I can't believe I'm saying this. But... I've just been like Android hardcore loyal for so long, and there's still things I just like better functionally on the Android. Not just maybe being used to it. I think like if you get a high-end modern Android phone the same year as an iPhone, honestly at the end of the day it's just a user experience thing. They are about equal at this point. It's not really that big of a deal. Like you're not losing out. There used to be a bigger dividing line between the two, and I think it's kind of melted a lot, except in how like apps operate and sort of the user experience. That's my nerd talk for today, even though I'm no Marquise Brownlee. Shannon Boulder says, I FaceTime with my son frequently, even when he was stationed in Italy or Japan. That's awesome. Maria Betnacourt. Ooh, I'm behind you guys. I already know. It's one of those times we're going to get way behind you guys. Says, Chanel Sears, is Sears still around? We don't have any in Tampa. I still see Sears rarely. Sears does still exist, but I wonder how many actual stores exist compared to like years ago when they used to be everywhere, but I know they still exist. In fact, I was parked in a Sears parking lot that was right beside where the truck got repaired, because the truck got repaired. I picked it up, and then I just wanted to like drive over and get the house organized, so I was in a Sears parking lot where I saw customers coming in and out, so it definitely still exists, but they're probably hard to find. Jen Halliburton says, LOL, my Samsung and I are cuddling. Shannon says, I actually got annoyed with FaceTime because it seems the only way my family knows how to call, LOL, and I always like being seen on camera. Yeah, like, I can see that being a problem. Right now, so few people would even think to FaceTime me. I think if it got to the point where I was getting FaceTimed all the time, it would annoy me. But luckily, like, I think the people who would FaceTime me aren't going to like annoy me with it. And you know, I can always like reject the FaceTime and be like, I'm be honest, I don't want to be on camera right now. Text it to me or call. One or the other. Andrea says, I feel the same way about my first Apple purchase, so you're not alone. I feel like a traitor to Android as well. I don't know if I'll ever stop feeling like a traitor. Every time I have to like say, okay, this one, I won't even say this is good. I'll be like, I'll admit this isn't too bad. And that's as much credit as I'm going to give you. External influences got the droid love going in the comments. I love that this is more an amusing Android Apple war and nobody's like gonna get hurt feelings about it. Like, not on any real level, I don't think. Shannon Boldus, I've had Android since 1.0 and I've never had a virus, so I don't know what dumb things other people were doing. Apple phones also get phased out because Apple controls them. So they know exactly how to slow down your phone enough that you want another phone. Android is open source. Which has its bad and good, which means there is a higher level of vulnerability, but like, what are people doing? I've never had a virus on my Android phone. Like, ever. ever. And I've had Android straight up, and I've had cheap Android phones since 1.0. Like, I've never had a virus on my Android phone. And Apple also knows how to slow down, and phase out their devices. So the thing with Android's an operating system. It's not a phone. There was a phone called the Droid, but Android's an operating system, just like iOS is an operating system. iOS is the operating system that's on the iPhone, but the thing is, you cannot get iOS without having an iPhone or an iPad, because they are intrinsically tied. Android is an operating system that you can put on a Samsung phone, a LG phone, a blah, blah, blah phone. You know, anybody can produce a phone and then either use basic Android or skinned over Android, which Samsung actually has their own skinned over version of Android that they usually apply to most of their phones. But you can also get rid of that and go back to base Android if you're that nerdy. So the thing about Android is Android doesn't control the phone. It only controls the operating system. The phone producer controls the phone. With Apple, they control both. And that can be good in some ways and feel way over controlling and a pain in the butt in others. And I have an appreciation for sort of the open source nature of Android. Linda K says, what's your day looking like nowadays? My days look like I'm driving south to back to the Bay Area. That's all I've been doing really, is like just driving a few hours a day, maybe working on some video stuff, and then driving some more, you know. D. Huffman, thank you for posting the Patreon link. Earl Blackman says, have you ever thought buying land to have a home base? I would never want to own land. That's way too much responsibility, and I have no need for a bunch of land. The most I would like to do is if somebody else had land and I could rent a pad at a reasonable price, I would do that. And maybe have a little shed on it so I didn't have to have everything with me all the time. The other thing I would do if I wanted to do the 2 vehicle swap is just rent a storage space and switch the vehicles out as needed. But then that obligates me to, if I want to switch vehicles, I have to go back to this place. I have no interest in owning land. Land comes with way too much responsibility. I don't want to own something where I have to worry about it when I'm not there. So I have no interest in owning land at all. I wouldn't mind the idea of either being able to rent shop space occasionally or rent a parking space occasionally for specific situations. That's as far as I would go, but I have no interest in owning land. D. Huffman says, any theater projects coming up? Let's hope. Right now, no, I don't have anything I'm signed up for. Finding My Muse says, I am Apple through and through, except for my Fitbit. So you don't have the Apple Watch, basically. Shannon Boulder says, weird, I think Android cameras are better. I'm not going to lie. For the most part, Apple makes amazing cameras. But also, you have to remember, this is my Android phone. It's several generations old. At this point, this phone is, they just came out with, I think it's like 4 generations old in this line. It's a Pixel. This phone that I'm on right now is a 2020 phone. Just the year difference is going to make a difference in camera. Apple does generally have better cameras, and their cameras, I'm going to be honest, actually usually hold better quality when being uploaded to social media. Now, there are Android phones, especially in the higher-end Samsung line and the higher-end Pixels, to be honest, that have amazing cameras that can compete with Apple's cameras straight out, if you want to pay that amount of money. But that could also be said for the higher-end sort of Apple cameras as well. But also, for my particular situation, this phone that you're looking at now is new. It's a 2020 phone. This is not a 2020 phone. So that alone is going to create a huge gap in technology. So yeah, and again, Android is an operating system. There are Androids with terrible cameras and Androids with great cameras. Apple iPhones are only produced by Apple, so they sort of have more of an equal line when it comes to the kind of camera you're going to find on it. And also, they don't have as many different kinds of phones as Android phones, because Android is not a phone. It's an operating system that goes on certain phones, you know. Yeah, so Android literally has nothing to do with the camera, because Android is an operating system, so you can put it on a phone with any kind of camera. My channel is turning into a nerdy tech. Nerdy tech with DawnofVanlife. Shannon Boulders, how many experiences have you had with viruses? It sounds like viruses scared you away. I can just say I just haven't had that experience. So, like, literally for me, it's really just about the user experiences. I have had a MacBook Pro. I liked my MacBook Pro. I needed it in college because the program we were using, well, I didn't need it, but I wanted my own editing laptop when I was in college. And the program we were using was Apple exclusive. So I reluctantly bought an old MacBook Pro. And then I dropped hot tea on it. And it was an old MacBook Pro. So I would have had to pay to repair it. And it definitely wasn't worth it. And so at that point, I started using Adobe, which also worked on Windows laptops. So I went back to using Windows laptops for a while from then, honestly, just because they were more affordable. But yeah, I just haven't had this like outbreak of viruses in my personal experience. Yeah. Apparently, they're saying Sears is closed. I've definitely been at a Sears recently, but I didn't go inside. Maybe it was just part of the mall and they hadn't ripped it down. Terry says the only thing my iPad was good for was a paperweight. I will say I bought my iPad for a specific purchase, and this was years ago. I had an iPad mini, and I just did not end up using it as much as I thought I was going to use it. So I also got me a Google Chromebook, and Chromebooks are Android, by the way. So if you ever see Chromebooks, they are Android. That's what they are. They aren't Windows. They aren't Apple. They're Android, which is a completely separate thing. For some reason, people pair Android is an operating system produced by Google, and Windows is a operating system produced by Windows. And again, much like Android, Windows is then used on different machines, i.e. you can get Windows and get a Dell computer, you can get Windows and get an HP computer, etc., etc. But Chromebook uses Android. I used the heck out of my Chromebook when I had it. Oh my god, compared to that iPad, I used my Chromebook all the freaking time. And the problem with the Chromebook, if it wasn't good for anything besides like email. Like email and browsing the web, it was really good at simple document stuff, but I couldn't use it as an editing machine, and that was the only reason I stopped using the Chromebook. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So I can feel you on the iPad basically becoming a fancy paperweight. Coralie says, that's so funny about you feeling dirty about enjoying the iPhone. I didn't say enjoying. I said some stuff on it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. M. Pigmore says, I'm a Samsung girl. I used my Samsung Galaxy 3 until February. Now I have a Galaxy 9. Woo! Yeah, that was a big upgrade. Shay says, I like Android keyboards usually. Dual characters per key. You don't have to click symbols. Actually, I'm going to be honest. I still like when I'm texting or like using the on-screen keyboard, I still like the Android one better. But I don't know if that's the size of because I have the SE again, which is really small. So I wonder how I would feel if I had a larger iPhone that was the same size. What I like about this is how it feels in my hand. The iPhone SE just feels too small. So yeah, if I ain't got the budget to buy a different phone, but like if I hadn't got this one on the cheap and I could afford a size same phone, I wonder if I would like it better. But I do like typing on the Android more than the iPhone right now, and that also just might be familiarity. Zenga says, does Mickey go outside? When he feels like it. But he goes outside on harness and leash. Penn in Kentucky says, I was an Android user since the beginning, but I went with iPhone XR a few years ago. Love it. A lot more stable. What Android phones were you using, though? Again, there's a lot of phones out there that are running Android. Android is an operating system. So yeah, I had cheap LG phones, and I've had my Pixel phone. My cheap LG got on my nerves, but that was LG's design. That wasn't Android, because my Android on my Pixel, I love it. Like, if I could afford, like, one of the new Pixels, I would have one. Because I freaking love the Pixel, and it was a completely different experience, and they both run Android. I am a Pixel fan. K Doodle says, hello, been away for a while. What is your next project? Ideally, I would like to get the box truck painted on the outside. Like, that's the big thing I want to do. But the paint is going to cost a few $100s. And right now, I want to build up my savings before I start spending money on projects again. And I'm definitely not back there. Like, I'm not going to, like, starve tomorrow. But, I also don't want to be spending money right now for something that's just aesthetic, if that makes sense. And I lost the scroll. I think I might have lost some of the scroll. That's okay. I'm sorry if I missed some comments because I had to go out and back in and it won't let me scroll all the way back up to the top. Let me see. Woo! Oh man, sorry guys. Give me a second. Okay, there it is. I lost it for a second. Alright, I'm just gonna roll with it. Laura Kramer says, my favorite Android phone was my Note 9. I might have missed some comments because I can't get the whole scroll anymore, so forgive me. Rescue Dog Treats is Team Apple. We got the Apple Android War of the Century. Divine Rap says, oh, no. FaceTime is disabled all the time. Matter of fact, no need to call. Just text. If it ever got annoying, like, if it got to the point where a whole bunch of people I didn't want to talk to were, like, FaceTiming, that'd be the end of FaceTime. But right now, it's under control. It's a one-off thing. Penn in Kentucky says, I like having access to everything from all my devices, iPhone, iPad, and watch. And I get that. Like, compatibility, that's one of those reluctant points I'll give to Apple. Even though their devices are so expensive, I'd go broke trying to have them all anyway. If you do have all the Apple, if you have all the eyes, the pads, the phones, the Macs, the Apple Watches, yes, there is like great compatibility. But honestly, I've been able to get everything I want on all of my phones anyway, even when they weren't. I mean, it's not as simple as like tapping or like anything like that, but everything like I need to do isn't limited by not having that, so it's just not a big deal for me right now. But I get the people who like that easy compatibility. Yeah. Shay says, I have PCs and Androids since ever. The most I ever paid for a phone is $60 and a laptop $350 and never had a single sniffle of a virus, and this is since 96. You know what I find funny? And this may not be the case for you in the comments, but I find a lot of the times people mad because they downloaded like porn and then they had a virus. It's like, well, you shouldn't have downloaded Let me stop. People also get scammed in like emails and stuff like that, so yeah. I see everybody talking about Siri. So Google does have an assistant as well. They've actually had it for years. It's called Hey Google. She doesn't have a name. Sorry, now my phone is like, you said what? Never mind. Hey Google, close. Anyway, so what I was saying, and also, actually, Windows has an assistant now, and of course, Alexa exists, but I don't have anything with Alexa. So I think it's funny when people have the assistants compete. I actually think when you're doing silly stuff, Google is funnier than Siri. Siri can be really dry in her responses. And sometimes Google is like a little more entertaining in how they respond. And for anybody who clicks on my community tab, you can see the rap battle of the century, which is Siri versus Google. And Google killed Siri in the rap battle. Mr. Who's the Boss did it, and like, yeah, he literally asked both assistants to rap. The bubbling you see in the background over there is Mickey's water fountain. That's what that is. That's all it is. It's Mickey's little USB water fountain. Seppi Sky, the box truck is running great. Haven't had a problem with it since I took it out the shop. Southern Project says Motorola has been in aerial communication while Apple was still playing with DOS in the computer systems. That's a nice high-tech burn. D. Huffman says, my Siri is a British guy. Sexy as hell. Oh, darn. I feel like I missed something. I'm not going to read that out loud. Terry, what are you going to do when you get to the Bay Area? Hopefully have some work. Because what I need to do is build my savings back up. Sarah says the dawn of iPhone life. I also saw, there's Bunny. How you doing? I saw Bunny plays here and here, like repping the iPhone. I feel like you're more happy about me having an iPhone than I am happy about me having an iPhone. You're like, yes, welcome to the dark side. Join us in the iPhones. Shay says, I think Sony phones have... Oh my gosh, I forgot about Sony phones, but Shay says, I think Sony phones, if you can afford them, have amazing cameras. You are right. Sony has terrible names for their phones. They have kick butt cameras. They're probably some of the best cameras on phones out there. The Sony Android phones have amazing cameras. They just are horrible at their marketing, and their phones are not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. Shay, it's funny seeing the delay as I scroll through the phone trying to catch up with the chat. Joan C says, I have a MacBook and I want all my stuff to match. Apple all the way. I don't have a MacBook. I had a MacBook Pro a long time ago. I've had an iPad on occasion. Well, on occasion of one. One time I had an iPad that I ended up not using that much. It was an iPad mini. And, yeah, I haven't had anything Apple in years. Years ago, I had a Mac computer that I really liked, and that's because you could actually open it up and change out. It was like the old, like, tower computers. You could actually open it up and, like, change out things on the inside, and I love that thing. Unfortunately, obviously, it was phased out by years. Heather Hopper says, Hero, Batman or Superman? Are you new to the channel? Like, are you going to ask that question about Batman and Superman? Are you new to the channel? Are you new? Can you tell who this is? Nope, that's Aquaman. Who cares about him? Can you tell who this is? That's my man right there. That is my man. No question. Sorry, Aquaman, you're just not. Wonder Woman is awesome. We got Green Lantern and the Flash up here. But mostly, we are here for my man right there. You're cool, but that's my guy. That is my guy. Everybody knows I got like 15 Superman shirts and junk like that. Oh man. Dang it, I lost the scroll again. And I'm getting old. I'm like, what the scroll say? Shannon, I just saw I gotta go to work. Have fun. I lost the scroll. Shannon Boulders, if I get a bigger phone, it's probably going to be a Pixel. I'm going to be honest. It's probably not going to be the iPhone. It's too expensive. M. Pedmar says, Dawn, you're not going crazy. There's still 26 Sears stores open across America and a ton of Sears repair shops. See, Sears still exists. I wasn't crazy. Looks like somebody already answered that I am in the state of California. Has Mickey ever gotten out accidentally or lost in the box truck? He's never got lost inside the box truck, if that's what you mean. He was outside once and slipped his harness, but he did it to climb a tree. And I panicked and started calling his name. And he ran to me, meowed at me, and then went back and climbed his tree. Luckily, it was a short tree, and I was able to get him down. But he isn't really like, he is like, I can open the door and like, he's not like going to dart out like that. He likes his house. he's very much a homebody cat. Like every once in a while, he like gets a little bit curious, but he's mostly a homebody cat. Danny Calver says, all I know, I was given most of my phones, including this iPhone 8 Plus. Hey, ain't nothing like a free phone. If somebody gave me a free iPhone, I'd be like, not really what I wanted, but I'll take it. You know, I ain't gonna say no. It's a perfectly good phone. So, hey. Oh my gosh, Hobo Joe on the go. I was just talking to my friend about this when she FaceTime me. She says, I'm outside of Fort Worth, 78 to 48. Perfect. Oh, and gas is $2.77 a gallon. I am jealous. I got into California and I was like, oh, gas prices, the bad part. Linda K says, you keep activating my phone. I'm not going. I kept activating my own G assistant. I'm not going to say those words because I'll activate her again. I just got here. I want to see Mickey. Mickey's ears are like there at the beginning of the thing. Let me see. He's still in the same spot. Oh, I don't want to disturb him. He's so cute. He's the cutest thing. I do have cameras all over my bed, so like this is a lantern. This is my GoPro. And this is my my little Polaroid camera I sometimes use. But there he is being a little lazy cat. Hi, Mickey. You're a lazy cat. You're a lazy cat. Let's see if we can not cut off half my face. There we go. I'm scrolling. But I do envy your Texas gas prices. D. Huffman says Google directions suck. I don't know. I like Google better than Apple Maps. Apple Maps, I was like, I'm never using this again. I couldn't download Google Maps fast enough. Diana Rodriguez says Bixby is good. I've been hearing about Bixby, but I haven't really explored it. Google told me to watch my language. Terry Newell said that. Charv Hart says all the Android phones are uniting and taking over at the command of Dawn. Ah! Southern Project says it's the dawn of van, bus, tool, phone, nerd life, etc. Betty Bringan says, you have come such a long way. I remember when you first started and you've always had a great attitude. Stay safe, well, and happy. Thank you so much. Bunny Place here says, you having an iPhone makes the group text more poppin'. Oh yeah, me, Bunny, and D from Lady Bug Out, we have like a group text, and now I'm not the weird android in the group. So I guess that's good. Freedom Dove says Superman all the way. Rescue Dog Treat says Dawn Superman. Yeah. influences is my enemy and says, Batman? No, Superman. Jen says, Superman's her only one. Veronica G is apparently Team Batman all the way. He does what he does without any superpowers. Okay, so the reason why I like Superman is because he's an alien. And, like, because I've always felt like sort of alien-like. Like, I've always been a little bit different. I've always been a little bit out of step. Like, Batman is, yeah, he doesn't have superpowers, but, like, he's also, like, this rich, suave guy who can buy it. He literally have bought superpowers to compete with people with superpowers, which isn't a bad thing. He's a good guy. I do like him as a hero and his backstory and all of that. But, like, Superman is just, he's a super powerful alien, but really, he's just this nice guy from Kansas. You know, for all his godlike powers, he's just a nice guy from Kansas who actually chooses to use his godlike powers not to hurt humanity, but to help humanity. And at the same time, he can never fully be a part of humanity. And so, like, I can get real deep on this, but that's why I'm a Superman girl. I just have this really, like, I really just, I love the whole idea of that dual nature of being an alien, and also at the end of the day, honestly, he's just a nice guy from Kansas, and instead of abusing his power, he wants to use it for good. He could literally squash the entire earth, and he doesn't. And I find that choice super powerful. So yeah. That is my spiel on Superman. My daughter and son-in-law were going to name their child Kal-El. Yeah! I love it. Kal-El, what's up? Whoops. Oh, thank you, Lydia K, for the $5 super chat. She says, what's on your remaining build holiday wish list this year? The paint to paint the truck. Like, that's the big thing I want to do next. I've just had it on hold because of money. That was the thing I was kind of moving towards. Like, I need to fix my plumbing, but I've already bought everything I need to do that. I am changing out my rear roof vent, but I already have it. I just need to get up there and do it, and I need to be somewhere where it wasn't raining. So yeah, those are like, I need to fix my plumbing. I'm not going to get into it. I basically need to switch out my water pump. It's working fine, but I need to switch it out to a different one, for what I want to do to get it to run through the hot water heater. Because right now I have the hot water heater, but it doesn't work because I just need to set everything up with a different pump. My back roof vent I'm going to replace, because there are things wrong with it. And so I already have a replacement. That's not a big deal. But the thing I haven't bought that I still need is just paint for the outside of the truck. So now in the comments, these are the wars we have going on. We have iPhone versus Android, and we have Batman versus Superman, and I guess we kind of have Apple Mac versus Windows. Just so you know, the wars we have. And what I love about the wars here on the DawnofVanlife channel is that none of these have any real weight. It's just us and our preferences, which I love. External Influences says, I love Batman so much I have an email called BatNerd716. I freaking love it. That is awesome. That's the kind of nerd stuff I respect. There it is. I was like, where was I? Alice Christenberry says, good evening, Dawn. Sorry I missed the first part of your live. Just curious, why did you return to California? Weather. It was the closest, best weather choice, and probably I'll have more opportunities to do some work that's not totally randomized down here. But the biggest thing was weather. The weather got way better when I got closer to Reading. Gibby Gibb says, so are you heading back to the Bay Area? Yes. Come down to Arizona area, gas is mid 350s. I can't get down to Arizona right now because of money. And even with gas being a little bit more costly, I can make more money in the Bay Area, probably, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, than I could anywhere else. So, like, it's going to balance out to better. Bunny Plays here says Google Maps and Waze are superior. Oh yeah, Waze is great. I haven't used it because I had it on the phone where it used to, like, it was just too slow. And I think it was a balance between Waze being a heavy app but the actual directions in Waze are great. And I like the Waze app. It's kind of cute. It's cuter than Google Maps or Apple Maps. But even our Apple fan here, Bunny Plays here, Apple Strong, is like Google Maps and Waze are superior as far as mapping. I mean, like, there's gonna be some stuff that, like, all of these maps get wrong because sometimes roads are closed and the app just doesn't know it, or a situation has changed. Like, I worked at this brand new hotel that had been built, and so the road didn't exist right when it opened, as far as, like, on most of the people's GPS. And so, like, people was calling there like, I can't find it in my GPS, and so they had to tell people, go to this place and then these are the directions here. And then after a few months, it finally, like, the road that was literally built to go into this area where the hotel was finally became, you know, existing on most of the maps. So there's always going to be, that's just technology. Sometimes there's going to be hiccups. Rescue Dog Treep says, Dawn, what fridge do you have? I just got the Boojav RV 30 liter, works great so far. I have an Iceco, and I always forget what this thing is. This other thing that I'm using for a freezer, but my fridge is an Iceco. And what is this thing? I don't know what my other one is. The small one. My big one is the Iceco, though. Freedom Dove says Superman was also hot as hell, LOL. Well, which Superman? I mean, arguably, if you go by their comic book physiques, Batman and Superman are, like, both, physically speaking, if you see them walking down the street, I think most women would find both of them hot. like in a general like sense. They're both handsome men, as it were. I mean, personally, if it's just about attraction, I'd probably go for Wonder Woman. So, D. Huffman says Aquaman is hotter. Jason Momoa all day. Gibby Gibb says, what kind of paint are you using? Latex spray or oil based? I am thinking about doing a truck liner. I don't want to say rhino liner because I'm finding out a lot of stuff people call a rhino liner is just different variations of, like, the truck liner stuff. But yeah, like, I was thinking about using bed liner as my body paint, which a lot of people do, and it looks pretty cool. But that ain't cheap. Alberta and Stella says, I adored Superman so much I named my son Christopher after my favorite one, Christopher Reeve. Man, that was my first Superman. Corey Flower says, now that your box truck is built, is there anything you would change? I actually want to change how I did the toilet, which I don't know that I've shown that to everybody. But over here in the corner, I kind of want to rebuild that a little bit. I kind of have the seat part too close to the wall, and so sometimes it's uncomfortable to sit on it. So I'd like to rip it all out and do it again. But like most of the regular build part of it is perfect. It's working out exactly the way I want to. It would have been nice to have more garage, but I wouldn't want to have given up any more space than I gave up to it. Sam Moore said, hi, do you ever feel lonely? I'm an introvert, so I enjoy more time alone than with people. So not a lot. I mean, honestly, if I lived in a house, I'd be alone most of the time. If I lived in an apartment, I'd be alone most of the time. So that situation wouldn't change the amount of interaction I have with people. And so not really, because like no matter what I lived in, I would still be alone most of the time just because I'm a loner. I think like the amount of people I interact with is the same amount of people I would interact with even if I was living in something besides a vehicle. Terry Newell says, we're paying $2.99 to $3.18 a gallon in Wisconsin. Man, don't tell me this. The saddest part of coming back to California is the gas prices. Gabby Gibbs says, is there message boards for theater jobs like work camping to help you find some jobs? I mean, it's like anything else. There are resources for looking for jobs, but the thing about entertainment jobs is the easiest way to get them is the people that you know. Especially for the kind of work I do. Like, if I was just going to do something generic at a theater, that's one thing, but for my specific, like, specialty, half the time you get your job through recommendation. It's not really a big... So the more people you know in an area, the easier it is to get employed in the field. And so, like, those first couple jobs a lot of times define what you're able to do after that. I've gotten most of my theater jobs through recommendation. So, yeah. What did I hate when I lose the scroll. Here, God darn it. Stop it. Deborah on the Go says, hi, what is your next event? Do you have one? I miss my Android. I also like several things on the iPhone. See, you're like me. It's like, you know, honestly, I could have either phone and make it work. But I was just an Android girl. I was Android loyal. I felt so loyal to Android, so it feels weird having the iPhone, let alone giving concessions on the things that haven't been horrible as far as like user experience. My next event, to answer the important question, I don't really see me doing anything before RTR if I, you know, do anything, because right now my biggest focus is rebuilding my savings account. It's not going anywhere. It's not doing anything. So if you find my channel boring, I still need to cover the rest of my build videos because my next video needs to be about how I built my bed. But like right now the focus is just picking up some work and building up the savings account again. Plant Power Ventures says, have you joined any box truck groups? Box truck groups exist. Veronica G says, totally get your stance on Batman. Truthfully, I've wanted to be Catwoman since I was 6 years old. Too bad I never had the body for the costume, LOL. Hey, make your own costume. Be your own Catwoman. Southern Project says, my only issue with technology is when it takes people's jobs away. Example, self-checkout at grocery stores and superstores. Here's the thing. I don't actually think that's taking away people's jobs, and I'll tell you why. Having worked in a food service place, they will staff depending on how much money they make. which means even if the line's out the door, if it's still not balancing out, like I remember having to let people go, and I would have loved to be able to just make food and have the automatic checkout do it because there were just enough hands to be everywhere. And so I think like how much the self-checkout is taking away jobs is a little bit over exaggerated, because it means like you can just do other stuff or the line moves faster because 5 people are checking out themselves and there's one person there to handle problems. Otherwise that one person would be a cashier with a backed up line. So I think there's actually some ways self-checkout actually just helps people who are working those retail jobs more than actually takes away jobs. So like, and I've talked to people who love the self-checkout, like, especially like at like a Taco Bell where it's like, they don't have to like, if there's only a few of them working in the back, then all they have to do is prepare the food and get it to the person. They don't have to now take off their gloves, go up to the cash register, ring up the person, and they can go to the back and help make food. So it really kind of depends on the situation. Gabby Gibbs says, Batman has a plastic cover over his muscles. I'm with you about Wonder Woman, plus she was an Amazon. Here's the thing about Batman. He is wearing armor, but you have to respect the fact that in order for Batman to actually be competitive with supervillains and be on the same level as superheroes with legit superpowers, you do have to give him points for the fact he actually has to work out. Like, the agility and all that stuff, he probably, even under that armor, I'm not talking about the actors, just in the quote-unquote reality of Batman. There is no reality. But in the quote-unquote reality of Batman, he would have to be a fit guy. He wouldn't be able to do what he could do without being a little bit fit. So, yeah. I'll give him his points where he deserves it, like the iPhone. Batman, the iPhone. Even though I have a preference for something else, I'm going to give them their points. I lost the scroll again, guys. I suck at this. I'm terrible. Where are we at? Okay. Woo, we're over an hour. I usually try not to go over an hour. We're like at an hour and 10 minutes, so I'm gonna have to do some scrolling. D. Huffman says, yes, every Wonder Woman has been hot. Yes, they have. Yeah, I disagree. Yes, they have. Also, like, Wonder Woman is one of the few female superheroes that isn't, like, the female version of a male version. So, yeah. Margaret Parsons says Chrome did the truck liner on his van, said the paint alone was like, yeah, just the paint itself is pretty expensive. And I have to paint the whole box. And that's a lot of space to paint. Where are we at? Oh, there we go. Miss VG3 says, as an introvert, I only feel really lonely when I'm in an emotional space and need to vent, but don't have that person. I'm sorry. Sometimes I feel like I'm reluctant to reach out to people when I should, but that's because I'm a person who likes the space of my personal space. I'm always reluctant to feel like I'm invading other people's personal space without them requesting my presence, which is dumb, because I'm always open when people need me to be that person. So it's a very complicated space to be in. So because I am an introvert, I treat everybody else like an introvert when they would be open to, like, helping me or talking to me when I need it. And I'll pull away from actually doing that because I expect them to want their space as heavily as I want mine. And a lot of times that isn't true. And also, I don't think introvert versus extroversion is like a black and white thing. I think there are degrees to it. But I also think some people think they're an introvert and they're not. They just like alone time sometimes, which is not being an introvert. Gibby Gib, I've thought about Vegas, but still, I don't want to go anywhere blind when I know I need money. The thing is, like, if I go back to the Bay Area, I know people. I wouldn't be starting from zero. If I go anywhere else, I'm starting from zero. And maybe not, it'll work out. Gibby Gibb says start your own box truck group. I don't know that I want to manage a box truck group. I don't want to become the head of something that becomes another job. That's my whole thing. FDM says Bruce Wayne is a regular guy with a lot of money. Bruce Wayne is not a regular guy. His amount of money, his ability to have a bat cave built under his mansion and a Batmobile makes him not a regular guy. He may not be a superpowered guy, but Bruce Wayne is not a regular guy. Ant-Man is a regular guy outside of his suit. Bruce Wayne is not a regular guy. He's just not a superpowered guy. Freedom Dove, I like the look of the paint. That's what it's about. And I've actually, even in cities, I've had this truck beat up a lot by trees, like all the time. In fact, the day I installed my ladder, the top of it got bent because of how I was parked on the street. There was a tree there. So just height, I run into trees all the time. Trees are scratching the side of the box all the time. Oh, believe me, I don't need to go out in the woods to hit trees. Trees, because of my height and because so many things are designed for like regular height cars, are always scratching the side of this box truck. FDM2175 says Wayne is an ordinary human, so regular guy relative to superpowered heroes. Yeah, but if you're going to get relative, like, having the amount of money Bruce Wayne have is a lot of power. If he had been some regular broke dude whose parents had been murdered, he could not have become Batman. I don't care how much he worked out. Like, his ability to be Batman, his power is being a millionaire. I think there was a joke in that in one of the in the movies. Like, his power is being a multi-million bazillionaire. And that is a power. Let's not front. If Bruce Wayne had been broke, he never would have become Batman. I mean, he might have wanted to go out and beat people up, but he would not be Batman. He'd be some dude. But yeah, Southern Project says Bruce Wayne has bats on the brain. Bruce Wayne is a very intelligent human with resources, and resources that regular people don't have. All right, it's getting late. We've been on for almost an hour and 20 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I think I might have missed some comments, just trying to move through and accidentally saying, I'm not going to say it, hey G, because then like my G assistant wants to open up, so I'm not going to say that. And I'm going to wrap this up. Oh my gosh, I see you mentioned Gambit. Oh my gosh, Gambit is such an underused X-Men, and I hope that you just had to get me started again. I hope now that Marvel has the X-Men again that they do more with Gambit. Gambit is the man. All right, no more nerd stuff. Dawn of Van Nerd Technology Life. I'm gonna wrap it up for the night. See you guys. Thanks always for your wonderful interactions and your great positivity. And I love that just the nature of my channel has mostly remained positive after all this time, and that you guys keep coming back. So I will see you in the next live or video or whatever. Oh, Mickey, you need to say bye-bye. Mickey, are you up there? There you are. Mickey, hi. Say bye. He's not going to say anything. All right, bye-bye.